Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys is how to organize your footage. Yes, you're probably thinking in your head, oh my God, everybody wants to do a how to organize your footage. But every editor that I know that does this for a living in the real world does it the way that I'm going to show you, and I haven't seen this tip anywhere on YouTube. And I'm doing it number one, so just in case you don't want to watch the rest, this tip will save you so much time. That's why I'm doing it the first one. Nobody's done this. So with saying that, let's jump into the computer so I can show you. Okay, so now that we're in the computer, I'm going to go to my media browser, go to the server that this footage is on. Okay, so here is all of the cameras that we used for that day, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new sequence, and the way you do that is Command N, which is what I have my shortcuts. All you're doing is creating a new sequence. And then I'm going to title it Camera A. And then I'm going to make it whatever resolution it needs to be. My settings, I go Custom, QuickTime, Apple ProRes, Camera A, and then I do with audio, because that's the one that has all the audio on it. So with that, I will go here. I will create a new bin, which is that's the project, the name of the project. I titled it Demo for YouTube since I'm doing that. And then I will call this one Sequences. And then once I have my folder with my sequences, I will put all of my sequences in that folder. And then obviously I will create a new bin called Camera A with audio. And the reason for that, once I drop, well, you see why that bin's important. Okay, so now I'll go back to my media browser. I click on the footage, and then I drag it all down into the sequence. So now I go back to here. As you can see, all of those files are here, so I just dump it in the Camera A folder. So now my Camera A footage is in Camera A with audio matched up with my sequence. And I literally do that for every folder in this project. So I just do the exact same thing for Camera B, Camera C, Camera D, Drone, GoPro 1, GoPro 2. One thing that I'm going to get a lot of, is you can do it, is you can just make sure nothing is highlighted here, go to your media browser, and just dump in, import a whole entire folder. You can do that as well. The reason why I just don't have the habit of doing that is because I make sure all my footage, so you can do that as well, which is fine. You don't have to create a folder. It's actually a less step. Create a new sequence, just call it Camera C, and you can just dump your footage in there, so that you can do that as well. Okay, so now once you have all your footage organized, as you see, it's all organized. Camera A with audio, Camera B, Camera C. I have all the folders up there, and then I have all of my sequences as well. This is how I organize my footage. This is how most professionals organize their footage. The reason for that is the editor, most of the time you're not out there shooting, so you have to relive the whole entire day with each camera, which, you know, Camera A is going to take the longest. Camera B it's not going to take that long. Camera C, Camera C is not going to take that long. The drone, you're not really going to go in there until you're looking for a drone shot. So it's really just Camera A and Camera B that you're going to have to relive the whole day, because when you're an editor, you're not out there shooting. If you're out there shooting the footage, it's a little different. You might not have to do it this way, but editors that don't shoot the footage, they have to relive the whole day. So this is actually my second tip. I'm just going to get right into it because it ties in with all of this. Once you have all your footage set up like this, and like I said, you have to relive the day with A and B and sometimes the C camera. You see that, okay, so once you know the format of the show, because you're the editor, you edit the show, you know the format. Okay, so this is the walking segment. Okay, perfect. You do your chapter marker, which is a chapter marker on Premiere Pro. And then you just, okay, so walking segment. And then you have a color for that. You pick a color. My color, I think, is orange. I do that and then just drag it out however long the walking segment is. Okay, so it's this long from that clip to that clip. So now I have my notes. So when I come back to make the actual edit, I have this. So a big portion of editing, whenever you wasn't there to shoot it, is figuring out all the footage, seeing what they shot, seeing what's going on. So this would be considered B-roll. And then this is my B-roll color, little here. So all of this is B-roll. And every shot was intentional. Okay, so once you find the fish catch, I just found a fish catch. Obviously I skipped a whole bunch to the left. I mean, I would have to take notes for that whole time. This is why it's important to have a computer that's kind of fast, so you can just scrub through everything and see what's going on, because some stuff is not important, you don't need it, but a lot of stuff you will know once you're scrubbing through what's what. So this is a fish catch. So for a fish catch, you mark it and just fish catch, and then that's my red marker. And then now when I come back, I know there's a fish catch in these two shots. So now I know where the fish catches are. So then I do that for the whole camera A, and then this is the interview portions. So just do interview, and then I pick a color for that, and then that's it. So you do that for camera A, camera B. You got to be more specific, in my opinion, on camera A than you do camera B. Camera B, you have to get for this show. It's different for every show. We got to get the B-roll and the fish catches, and sometimes the talking, if he was on with the talking, sometimes you can get that. So it's very important to get the A, but the B, every show is different. So the B camera could have a different role in a different show. But for this show, we focus on B-roll, fish catches, and then obviously the interview back here. But that's how you organize your footage. That's how you use your markers for your advantage. That's 2 tips. So with saying that, let's get into the next tip. The next tip is letting your computer work when you're not working. Render your files and timeline if you can, and obviously if you have enough space to do this, it's always important to render your timelines while you are not working. See how this is yellow? It's important to make it green or have nothing at all. That's a ProRes 422, which is because we use Blackmagic, we shot in ProRes. But if it's yellow like this, the camera is taking more processing power and more power from the computer. So what you want to do is you want to render this timeline if you're not working. Let your computer work when you're not working. It's very important. And now once these are green up here, which what it did is it re-rendered the file in a format that the computer can handle better, and it's just way faster. You can work in it, and then whenever it renders the file, it's in high quality. The quality don't drop hardly at all when it renders it. It's just great. So yeah, that's simple. Even if you want to do proxies, that's fine. Well, whatever you want to do, just let your computer work when you're not working. It's quite simple. So with saying that, and when talking about having enough space, the one thing you want to do, I think this is tip number 4 now we're at, you want to have all of your project on a different drive, you want to have your rendered files on a different drive, and you want to have your original files on a different drive. What that does is it speeds up your whole computer. If you're putting everything on one drive, what it does is it bogs down that drive. That drive is trying to read rendered files, read original files, auto save. It's trying to do everything. So if you separate those tasks on different drives, each drive would be fast and snappy because each drive is doing less and it's fast and ready to go. It's not bogging down one drive. That helps more than you know. A lot of people that I know do that, and I do it as well. It speeds up the editing process a lot, because if you're on a big project and you see the auto save come up, it's done. Like, it's a split second done. Auto save is, and sometimes before I was doing that on a big project, auto save can take like 6 seconds. That's a long time when you're sitting here editing. You got an idea, you're about to do something, and then auto save pops up and it takes forever. But when you separate everything like that, it's quick. It's very fast. So with that, I'm going to show you how I have my original files, my rendered files, and my project file on a separate drive. Like I said, this is only if you have the space. The original files and the rendered files, it's always best to have on your fastest drives. The project file, it's good to have on a fast drive too. I would recommend having them all on a fast drive. you're going to get the best results. So what I do whenever I create a project, I just hit new project, and then I always, title it the way it needs to be titled. And then I hit browse and put that in a folder. And then whenever you go to your render files, you want to go to File, Project Settings, Scratch Disk, and make sure your video previews are on a separate drive, not on the same drive that you created that folder in. And obviously I have my original files on a server right now demonstrating this, but it's also better to have those on a SSD while you're editing them. Sometimes you can get away with having them on a slow drive as long as you render it out every time you use them. You're good to go if you just render them out. So saying that's how you do that. It's simple. Just have everything in a different drive if you have the space. It will definitely speed up your workflow. So with saying that, the fifth thing we're going to go over is adjustment layers. You can do this for cropping, for any effects, color grading, which most people use it for is color grading. It's phenomenal, especially if you're on a big project, it's time to color grade, and you have a lot to color grade, a lot of the same camera, and you want to make sure everything looks the same. You use an adjustment layer. So how you do that is you go over here, right click, since you have everything set up perfectly right here, you right click, new adjustment layer, make sure it's the correct width, resolution, throw it on top. Since that file is a lot bigger than it looks, you got to zoom in a little bit. I've heard somebody explain it, it's just like having a little glass over your footage. You always want to make sure this is on top of your footage that you're trying to color grade. Go to Effects, Video Effects, Color Correction. I like to use Lumetri Color. Go there, and now you can make all of your adjustments, and then you can do whatever you have to do. So yeah, once you color grade it and you're good with one clip, you can click this to see the difference. Obviously I didn't color grade it correctly, I just threw something on there so you can see the difference, as you see right here, off and on. Obviously whenever you do color grade it, it's going to affect the render and you'd have to re-render it. It's just part of it. So that is how you do that, and then you could throw this on every last one of your clips and they're all going to have the same grade. Normally you don't do this on camera A with audio. You would do it on your sequence that you're editing the project on, but I just demonstrated here just to show you. Okay, so that's how you use adjustment layers. They can be used for everything when it comes to cropping, blurring out something on somebody's shirt and it's in several clips and you want to use it and you have to track that area. It's best to use adjustment layers. It's really good. I would highly recommend learning how to use those if you don't. Okay, so my next tip for you guys is have your music ready in a folder like I do. I don't have it on here because I was demonstrating, but I have all of my music in a folder that I import every single project. So I have my burns and then I have my music. I'm just going to do a small folder to make it quick. So yeah, it's very important to have your music pretty much selected and ready to go before starting a project. It will help you with your speed. It will help you if you're out there shooting it. It will help you not spend hours on searching for music. It will just help you to know what you're going to use before you use it. It's a very big deal. So that was tip number, I done lost count, 6. I think we're on tip number 7 now. This is tip number 7, is how to cut to the beat. A lot of people don't know this trick, this technique, which in my opinion it feels a lot better to cut on one frame before the beat. A lot of people don't know to do that, but you will be surprised of how big of a difference it'll make for the viewer whenever them cuts are just so on point. It blows your mind. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to find a song here real fast to show you how to cut on the beat. Okay, so we're going to use this one, and just remember this footage is just thrown on here. I'm just demonstrating really fast. So cutting on the beat, this is how I do it. I do it one frame before the beat. Let me show you. By the way, this edit is going to make no sense. My point is to show you how to edit on the beat one frame before the beat. So say I want to cut here. Don't cut here, cut here. So now it's gonna feel. I'm gonna throw in a drone shot just so there's contrast to the situation here. So then I want to cut this one beat as well, or one frame before the beat. And now I'm going to use a GoPro clip just to show you. So that's how you cut on the beat. It's always one frame before the beat. And let me show you why I like it. And let me show you when you're exactly on the beat. That one should, oh, I think I just did that. Okay, so that one should be here. So let me show you what it looks like when you're exactly on the beat. A lot of you won't be able to tell the difference, but trust me, there's a difference. So from that to this. It's just a little extra snappy. That's a big tip. I would highly recommend using it. If you haven't been doing it, it's not like it's the end of the world. At least you're editing on the beat. Most people don't even edit on the beat. But that's just a tip that we use that will just give you that little edge. That necessarily won't speed you up. It's just going to make it better. Okay, so the next tip is going to be really fast, really simple. But if you don't know, you're going to love the fact that you know. You know how most people just copy and then they just paste it? There's a way faster way of doing that, which, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know, is you just get your clip. You don't have to highlight it. Just select it, command, drag it over, and now that's how you copy your clip. Just like that. You can do it as many times as you want with whatever you want, as many times as you want, like I said. It's an awesome technique. It's going to make copy and paste a lot faster. Highly recommend it. I have one last tip. This tip is going to be if you're in a bind, if you're on a big project, this tip will save your life. It saved my life. A lot of times it saved the editor's life that I know several times, and that is how to do the kill switch for whenever you have that rolling, that ball that just everybody hates, the ball that freezes up your computer. Premiere is froze. You have a lot going on, and it's just, it don't want to do nothing. It don't want to operate right. It don't want to close down. You're scared if you do close it down, you're going to lose all your work. So what you're going to do once you have the spinning wheel of death, I can't create it for this video, but you're going to go to your activity monitor. You're going to have probably not responding right here, and then you're going to go over there. You're going to write down your PID number. 8361 is mine. You're going to write that down. Then you are going to go to your terminal, and then while it's doing that, you're going to type in KILL space dash SEGV space dash, and then that number. So 8361. So once you type this in on your terminal, you hit enter. A message will pop up saying an error has occurred in Premiere Pro. You hit OK, and then you go in and hit save, and then it's saved. You're good to go. You close out your program, and then you reopen it, and you should have a saved program. You should be good with no worries. This works the majority of the time, but there is that chance that it won't work. But this is definitely worth a try. So with saying that, thanks for watching. These are my tips to help you become a faster editor. Some tips for a better editor, and some tips to get you out of a bind if you become in one. So with saying that, hit the like button, the subscribe button, all the buttons you're supposed to hit. And just have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.